I climbed not to thy everlasting day, even as I have shunned thy eternal night. To me, who turn not from thy terrestrial way, give back the other self my nature asks. Thy spaces need him not to help their joy. Earth needs his beautiful spirit made by thee, to fling delight down like a net of gold. Earth is the chosen place of mightiest souls. Earth is the heroic spirit's battlefield, the forge where the archmason shapes his works. Thy servitudes on earth are greater, King, than all the glorious liberties of heaven. The heavens were once to me my natural home. I too have wandered in star-jeweled groves, paced sun-gold pastures and moon-silver swards, and heard the harping laughter of their streams, and lingered under branches dropping myrrh. I too have reveled in the fields of light, touched by the ethereal raiment of the winds. Thy wonder rounds of music I have trod, lived in the rhyme of bright, unlaboring thoughts. I have beat swift harmonies of rapture vast, danced in spontaneous measures of the soul, the great and easy dances of the gods. Oh, fragrant are the lanes thy children walk, and lovely is the memory of their feet amid the wonder flowers of paradise. A heavier tread is mine, a mightier touch. There where the gods and demons battle in night, or wrestle on the borders of the sun, taught by the sweetness and the pain of life, to bear the uneven, strenuous beat that throbs against the edge of some divinest hope, to dare the impossible with these pangs of search. In me the spirit of immortal love stretches its arms out to embrace mankind. Too far thy heavens for me from suffering men. Imperfect is the joy not shared by all. Oh, to spread forth, oh, to encircle and seize more hearts till love in us has filled thy world. O life, the life beneath the wheeling stars, for victory in the tournament with death, for bending of the fierce and difficult bow, for flashing of the splendid sword of God. O thou who soundest the trumpet in the lists, part not the handle from the untried steel. Take not the warrior with his blow unstruck. Are there not still a million fights to wage? June 27, 1962. In the history of Earth, wherever there was a possibility for the consciousness to manifest, I was there. This is a fact. It's like the story of Savitri. Always there, always there, always there. In this one, that one. At certain times there were 4 emanations simultaneously. At the time of the Italian and the French Renaissance, and again at the time of Christ, then too. Oh, you know, I have remembered so many, many things. It would take volumes to tell it all. And then, more often than not always, but more often than not, what took part in this life or that life was a particular yogic formation of the vital being. In other words, something immortal. And when I came this time, as soon as I took up the yoga, they came back again from all sides. They were waiting. Some were simply waiting, others were working. They led their own independent lives, and they all gathered together again. That's how I got those memories. One after the other, those vital beings came, a deluge. I had barely enough time to assimilate one, to see, situate, and integrate it, and another would come. They are quite independent, of course. They do their own work, but they are very centralized all the same. And there are all kinds, anything you can imagine. Some of them have even been in men. They are not exclusively feminine. At first, I used to think they were fantasies. Before I met Sri Aurobindo, they would come and come and come to me, night after night, and sometimes during the day, in massive things. Afterwards, I told Sri Aurobindo about it, and he explained to me that it was quite natural. And indeed, it is quite natural. With the present incarnation of the Mahashakti, as he described it in Savitri, whatever is more or less bound up with her wants to take part. That's quite natural. And it's particularly true for the vital. There has always been a preoccupation with organizing, centralizing, developing, and unifying the vital forces and controlling them. So there's a considerable number of vital beings, each with its own particular ability, who have played their role in history and now return. But this one, the tall white being, is not of human origin. It was not formed in a human life. It is a being that had already incarnated and is one of those who presided over the formation of this present being, the mother. But as I said, I saw it. It was sexless, neither male nor female, and as intrepid as the vital can be, but with a calm, an absolute power. I found a very good description of it in one of Sri Aurobindo's plays, when he speaks of the goddess Athena. I think it's in Perseus, but I'm not sure. She has that kind of, it's an almighty calm, and with such authority. Yes, it's in Perseus, when she appears to the sea god and forces him to retreat to his own domain. There's a description there that fits this being quite well. During the whole time Sri Aurobindo was here, the four entities he speaks of, the four aspects of the mother, were always present. And I was constantly obliged to tell one or the other of them, now keep calm, now, calm down. They were always inclined to intervene. 18 September 1962. I am not doing it to show it to people or to have anyone read it, but to remain in Savitri's atmosphere, for I love that atmosphere. It will give me an hour of concentration, and I'll see if by chance, I have no gift for poetry, but I'll see if it comes. It surely won't come from a mentality developed in this present existence. There is no poetic gift, so it's interesting. I'll see if anything comes. I'm going to give it a try. I know that light. I am immediately plunged into it each time I read Savitri. It is a very, very beautiful light. First of all, I'll concentrate on it, just as Sri Aurobindo said it in English, using French words. Then I'll see if something comes without changing anything. That is, if the same inspiration he had comes in French. It will be an interesting thing to do. If I can do 1, 2, 3 lines a day, that's all I need. I will spend 1 hour every day like that. I don't have anything in mind. All I know is that being in that light above gives me great joy. For it is a supramental light of aesthetic beauty, and very, very harmonious. All his other books that could help me are already translated. And with Savitri, the idea isn't to make a translation, but to see, to try something, to give me the daily experience of that contact. I had some magnificent experiences when I read it the first time, 2 years ago, I believe. Wonderful, wonderful experiences. And since then, each time I read those lines, the same thing happens. Not the same experience, but I come in contact with the same realm. It will be an interesting thing to do. Addendum. These are the last lines of Savitri the mother translated. They were found in her notebook under the date 1 July 1970. But how shall I seek rest in endless peace, who house the mighty mother's violent force? Her vision turned to read the enigmaed world, her will tempered in the blaze of wisdom's sun and the flaming silence of her heart of love. The world is a spiritual paradox, invented by a need in the unseen, a poor translation to the creature's sense of that which forever exceeds idea and speech, a symbol of what can never be symbolized, a language mispronounced, misspelt, yet true. 23rd November 1962. That's what I'm experiencing in my body now. Exactly what you say. Each step forward forces you to make not a step backward, but a step into the shadow. And on the physical level, it's terrible. But your book shouldn't give the impression that it's always that way, that the light can't be established on earth until all the shadow is transformed. In fact, the very work of transformation is to change all this shadow into its aspect of light. The mother is alluding to the passage in Savitri where Sri Aurobindo speaks of the dark half of truth.